Hey, it's Megan. So it's absolutely crazy and insane how in 2022, going into 2023, like in 2 months, anti-trans laws are being passed with no scientific debate. I mean, these are laws being based in faith, not science. Throw science in the effing garbage at this point. Like with the people that are passing these anti-trans laws that even violate the very U.S. Constitution these scumbags claim to represent and fight for. Yeah, bullshit. Like the Declaration of Independence. I'm not even American. I'm Canadian. And I know for a fact that the Declaration of Independence, I'm pretty sure has a part about the pursuit of happiness. I mean, what happened to those ideas? People are absolutely nuts. I mean, there's so many anti-trans laws being passed in the United States that are mirroring what they do in authoritarian dictatorships that oppose human rights. Does it look like communist China and Russia are very trans, LGBT plus friendly? No, they're not. Are you that crazy to think that the United States Republicans are standing up for human rights when they oppose trans rights? Can people see the hypocrisy in that? It's absolutely crazy. I mean, I don't know why Donald Trump and Republicans don't see trans people as a potential vote. I mean, we're not your enemy. I mean, if the Democrats are that bad, then what are you doing? Causing more division. I mean, Trump claims that the Democrats are dividing Americans, but then he does the exact same thing. Oh my God, there's so many people in, with polls in America, how many people oppose trans rights, and this is based in faith, not science. There's no scientific debate going on. People literally don't even care about the science at this point. I mean, science proves DNA is not perfect at writing instructions. That includes chromosomes. So a pair could be off. Hence, trans people have gender dysphoria. It's very real. It's not made up or anything, because I experienced it for decades and tried to suppress it. And it just kept making things worse. And I just want to be happy. And it took me a while to get over the denial stage. So I have firsthand experience that all these anti-trans laws and ideology is totally based in misinformation, and it's literally mirroring the same misinformation, anti-trans misinformation in Russia and communist China, those authoritarian dictatorships. Who do people think they are to oppose trans rights here in democracy where we stand up for human rights, not oppose them? I mean, this should be a clear, everybody should be on the same page kind of thing, human rights. Let's take sports for an issue. I'm all for a scientific debate. Unfortunately, most of these anti-trans people are not. The Catholic Medical Association, the majority of their members wrote, a majority of members from Catholic Medical Association literally wrote the majority of Florida's anti-trans reports for Medicaid, which influenced the law. Florida has anti-trans laws that were literally influenced by faith. The Catholic Medical Association and other affiliated groups, they literally have a faith-based commitment against and opposed to any trans care. 1 in 6 hospitals in the United States are Catholic. So this is a human rights issue. You got fascist dictator types that are denying trans people medicine. In 2022, going into 2023, there's so many bigoted people out there that don't care about human rights. It's absolutely crazy that even Tucker Carlson, a lot of his anti-trans views and even his views on Russia and Ukraine are literally mirroring Russian propaganda. This is you can't even make this up. It's that crazy. And like those are the people that are popular. Like the anti-trans stuff is popular. You got like other people that live in those anti-trans authoritarian dictatorships, if they have access to the internet, and if they do, they probably like Communist Party members, because like the public in China do not have access to like the internet in the free world. Like, are you crazy? So like people that appear to be from like China and like getting messages from China, a lot of it's propaganda. Like they have state-sponsored social media influencers. And you better believe some of those are anti-trans and like just adding fuel to the fire. So like if you're anti-trans, you better realize what the is going on, because like dictatorships in other countries are influencing your beliefs. I see so many people like they actually think like trans is a leftist agenda or like an authoritarian agenda, but like that's such bullshit, like misinformation, because of the fact that like authoritarian dictatorships oppose trans rights. Are you that crazy to think that trans is somehow an authoritarian agenda when the authoritarian agenda opposes trans rights? Are you that stupid to believe it? Unfortunately, a lot of people are. So yeah, this is like literally the state of the world. Like, so many anti-trans laws are based in faith and oppose any scientific debate. These people don't care about science at all. I mean, you mentioned the fact a cis-woman a few years before Lia Thomas won. So like a few years before Lia Thomas won, a cis-woman, Katie Ledecky, swam a whole 9 seconds faster than Lia Thomas. And then a few years past, Lia Thomas swims 9 seconds slower than the previous record holder, which like still stands, I think. And like Lia Thomas never broke her record, and yet people are freaking out when in a few years after that a trans woman swims slower than the previous record holder, and people freak out just because she won? Are you kidding me? If you want to have some scientific debate on this, yes, let's go. So like a lot of anti-trans are like literally trying to like claim that like biological males are competing against females. Some of them are being more like transphobic and then literally outright claim that like men are competing against women. So like the right are absolutely pushing a lot of misinformation, and like when trans women compete in sports, we have to like go through a process. We can't just compete after we like decide we want to transition. No, we have to be on hormones for so long, and then if we still have to be within the range of like if we're too strong or whatever, not allowed. So like there's limits. Like you just, not anybody can go compete. Yeah, like people are spreading misinformation, and you got like you literally have anti-trans bigots that don't want trans kids to have access to puberty blockers after like doctors can talk with their parents and stuff like that. It's a very long process for kids to get on puberty blockers. They literally oppose kids going on puberty blockers, and then like, they claim that trans women have an advantage in sports because of like the muscle development and everything that happens at puberty. So like these people are like literally so control freak type, dictator type, authoritarian type. It's scary. And they're literally trying to flip it and try and claim that there's a trans agenda, and like, oh my God, there's so much misinformation. How does that get so popular? There's actually like a significant portion of like Americans who like even oppose trans people using the washroom. I mean, consider like when you live at home, the washroom is like unisex. Yet like people want to act like dictators. Who's going to physically check every woman that walks into the women's washroom? Are you some sort of fascist type that wants somebody to check who the fuck are you? So, like, people are literally out there, like, wanting to oppose people's constitutional rights and, like, the pursuit of happiness and all that. I mean, people have the right to keep their medical history private. What kind of fascist society is this becoming where people oppose trans women using the washroom? In some states, I think it's being, like, illegal.